Can humans sense if someone is behind them? Banyati Sinha, C1 School. This test is known as the experiment for observational purposes, also to figure out why people can sense if someone is behind them, if the test is successful. Background information. Scientists discovered gaze detection as something that helps us understand if someone is behind us. Most of the time, the gaze detection is not accurate. Some studies show that this sixth sense helped our ancestors in the past. The scientists think that there may be a complete, complex neural network behind gaze detection. Once information leaves our eyes, it travels to at least 10 distinct brain areas, each with their own specialized features. The visual cortex, big region at the back of the brain, supports our conscious vision, processing color and fine detail to help produce the rich impression of the world. A blindsight patient has shown how we might be able to feel that we are being watched without actually looking at the person. Background information part 2. Someone's scanning results show that our brain can be sensitive to what our conscious awareness isn't. This study showed that we can detect that people are looking at us within our field of view, for example, the corner of our eye, without even noticing. The brain gives us subtle hints that someone is watching us. The psychic staring effect, also known as scopaesthesia, is something in which humans can feel watched without looking. This idea was first explored by psychologist Edward B. Titchener. In 1898, students in Edward's class reported being watched even if they could not see the person. Edward conducted studies which proved to be negative. 2/3 of the students reported the same feeling in a study in 1913. Gaze detection may contribute to the feeling of a sixth sense. Hypothesis. If a person will stand behind the participant without them looking or knowing, then the participant will sense that someone is behind them. Hypothesis support. I think this is what's going to happen because of all the research I did, which all includes in one bundle that all connects with gaze detection. This phenomenon is when humans can sense if someone is looking at them or is behind them without actually looking at the person, as going back to the background information. Some scientists believe that this might be our sixth sense. They also believe that this might be what kept us alive when humanity was evolving. The experiment. Materials. 1 blindfold, 1 chair, and 10 participants. This was all done with COVID-19 precautions. Procedure. 1 participant will be blindfolded, and they will sit on a chair. Another participant will come and stand behind them quietly. I will make observations during this process if the blindfolded person can sense if someone is behind them. I will also take notes. I will ask questions about the day of the blindfolded person. After halfway during the time, I will ask the participant standing behind to go outside to see if the blindfolded person can sense if no one is there. Experiment. Graphs. The pie graph is what the reaction people had. 20% of the people heard, 30% of the people noticed, and 50% did not notice. This bar graph was to see the girls' data versus boys' data. 3 of the girls did not notice, 2 of the girls did notice, 0 girls heard. 2 of the boys did not notice, 1 of the boys did notice, and 2 of the boys heard. Observations. The amount of people that noticed, 3 people. The amount of people that did not notice, 5 people. The amount of people that heard, 2 people. The amount of people that noticed, girls versus boys, 2 girls, 1 boy. The amount of people that did not notice, girls versus boys, 3 girls, 2 boys. The amount of people that heard, girls versus boys, 2 boys, 0 girls. Observations part 2. More girls noticed there was someone behind them. More boys heard someone behind them. More girls did not notice that there was someone behind them. Ratios. Number of people that heard to the total number of people, 2 to 10. Number of people that noticed to the total number of people, 3 to 10. Number of people that did not notice to the number of people, total, 5 to 10. Number of people that heard to the number of people that noticed, 2 to 3. Number of people that heard to the number of people that did not notice, 2 to 5. The number of people that noticed that to the number of people that did not notice, 3 to 5. The number of girls that did not notice, the number of boys that did not notice, 3 to 2. The number of girls that noticed, the number of boys that noticed, 2 to 1. The number of girls that heard to the number of boys that heard, 0 to 2. Analysis. 1 second. Okay. The independent variable of this experiment was the person behind the participant not standing behind them after halfway through the experiment. The dependent variable of this experiment was the participant being tested on. The control variable was the participant being blindfolded. Some trends I noticed are that more girls notice someone is behind them than boys. More girls did not notice someone was behind them, and more boys heard something. Analysis part 2. In my first discussion, some other questions that came up during the experiment were how or why can some people sense someone is behind them and others cannot? How or why can a person feel vibrations? How or why can a person feel movement? Can a blindfolded person have different results than someone who was not blindfolded? Some further research that could have been done on this topic would be more research on how humans could use hearing to detect if someone is behind them, more research on human ears and how humans could hear could happen. My project is important because this could be used to know if stalkers or spies are behind you. You could dig deeper and find out how much you can expand human abilities to sense if someone or something's behind you or not. Discussion part 3. Only 3 people noticed someone was behind them. Yeah. Discussion part 2. I felt like I got the results that I did because of every human being different and everyone having different abilities. Even when I did the experiment, 1 out of 3 people who had noticed said they felt vibrations or movement of someone behind them. As I mentioned, many scientists believe that this is what kept our ancestors alive when humanity was evolving. People back then needed sharp instincts for hunting skills and staying alive. This experiment differed from my expectations because I expected most people to feel like someone was behind them. This may have happened because of many people having different instincts. Every human has a different way of interpreting things or sensing things. Discussion part. Conclusion on my experiment. My results are partly correct because 5 out of 10 people tested on they could feel or hear someone behind them, even though they were blindfolded. Half of the participants either felt or heard someone behind them, even described how. My hypothesis was about if the participants were blindfolded and they could sense someone behind them. Half the people somehow sensed someone was behind them, even if they heard or felt something. The test done in 1913 showed 2/3 of the people tested on to be accurate. The test done today had less people, but still managed to have 1/2 of the participants sense someone was behind them. Thank you for listening.